Hi everybody, welcome to downtown Amesbury, Massachusetts for an episode of Classic Candlepins. We're under the lights here and on the lob line along with Rich Lamoni. My name is Kyle Bruce and today we're featuring two excellent candlepin bowlers. And let's take a look at these two bowlers. From Winthrop, Massachusetts, Michael Miccichi.
Mike comes in averaging 115. He has a high single of 162 and a high triple of 421. He has two home alleys, one in Winthrop, Massachusetts, and the other one is in Malden, Massachusetts.
All right, excellent. Well, let's take a look at the man he'll be opposing, who essentially grew up in this very building that will be recording this broadcast. From Newburyport, Massachusetts, it's Brian Fuller.
Brian's average is 127. His high single is 224, and his high triple is 474. His home alley is this one right here.
Rich, are you ready for some candlepin bowling?
I'm ready to see some action.
Mike Miccichi will throw our first ball right after this timeout. All right, we're set to go on lane 7, and on the line now is Mike Miccichi from Winthrop, Massachusetts. No doubt about that one.
On lane 7.
Starts out with a bomb. That's the way you want to start it off. Rich, you said that Mike was a strike thrower, and he proves it right out of the gate.
It's right in the 1-3 pocket. 1-2 pocket, excuse me.
Went off the headpin that time, but he has another bonus ball. And that 8-pin just was a little stubborn there. Nine box for Mike. 27 after 2. And up steps Brian Fuller from Newburyport, Massachusetts. As I said in our introduction, Brian literally grew up here in Amesbury.
Just off the head pin. Use the 4 horseman right and the 8-pin.
Brian, the product of one of the bowling dynasties in Amesbury, Mass. Brian's going to be open here this first box. And he starts it out with a 9. Brian averaging a 127. And the lane he was the lane he's on right now, lane 6, is where he threw that dynamic 224, and he started it out with 6 strikes in a row. So he is very capable.
Comes in a little full. Leaves 3 standing.
Oh, he's Fuller.
That's true.
Yes.
Picks it up for a 10.
All right. 19 after 2. So Mike has the early 8-pin advantage.
It's always good to open up with a strike in the first box.
Absolutely. Put a little pressure on right out of the gate. Off the head pin that time, but he got a break.
Got some good action there. Left the 1-3.
He slides by that time. Mike, 23 years of age. And
$9 bucks.
He's 36 after 3 with that 9 box there. Mike is a student at Salem State.
I believe he's majoring in education, but could be wrong about that.
I trust you. Mike's looking at a split.
3, 6, and 10 on the right, and the 7-pin.
That one got away from him a little bit.
Nice 10.
46 after 4 for Mike. Brian Fuller. Brian's looking at a side saddle triangle right now, 3, 5, and 9. Put it down. First mark in the match for him. Bonus.
On the head pin. He's got a 7 fill.
Not this time. And $10. Mike's getting some good action off that head pin.
Got some good movement there. He only left the 1 and the 9. Piece of wood behind the head pin.
Not this time. Sent everything behind that 9 pin, but not into it. And a $10. One, 2, 7, 10. Piece of wood perpendicular to the pit against that 7 pin. Nice
It's in the
bid.
1-2 pocket, leaves the 10 pin. It's a very good bid there.
And a $9. Brian has his mom and his dad here, and the three of them combined have only thrown about 100,000 strings in this establishment here in downtown Amesbury.
Brian buries his pocket.
Solid 6 pin. Yes.
Picks it up for the spare. Moves over to lane 6.
56 and a ball.
The head pin again. Leaves the right diamond.
Brian 62 at the half. We're going to have to check the score on Mike's strike fill because I have it on my score sheet that he filled it with 8, but our official scorekeeper, Mr. Frank W. Stanwood, has it filling it with a 9 and 19. So Brian has an 8 box in any event. He's 70 after 6. Right in the pocket and another strike.
Clean up on on lane 7.
The second strike. First one was also on lane 7 to begin this match. Let's see if he can string some marks together working for the double.
Little full. Got 6 down. Left the 2, 4, 7, and the 9.
Not this time.
Manages an 8 fill. and finishes with an 8 points.
So Brian is back up on lane 7. Brian is a salesman at Hyman's Pennyworth in Newburyport. He's worked there virtually all his adult life. It looks like a 9 box right now.
Brian's on lane 6. Fires away at the head pin. Leaves the 2, 4, 5, and 7.
Tough shot. He put it right where he wanted to, but he'll be open again in the 8th. It's 10 bucks. Brian's 89 after 8, and Mike is back up now. Up on lane 7, where he's had good success with a pair of strikes. Nearly a third. The 9-10.
That's interesting.
Tough shot.
Got to play the wood there.
Split him. Leaves the 9. And a 9 bucks. Cannot break up that split. This will be a challenge here. 2, 4, 6. See how he plays this one.
Had to hope you cut the 2 into the other pins. Didn't work out.
All right. So on my score sheet, it's a 108, but like I said, let's take a look at it. And we certainly will, to make sure that we are as accurate as possible. Here's Brian's last 2 of string number 1.
Buries the head pin, leaves an ugly leave if not for the wood. It's got the 5, 6, and 10.
Wood might be angled so it can sweep everything over. Not this time. That's got to be one of the more frustrating leaves in the game, as Brian has a 9 for 98. And you're right in the pocket, 4, 5, 7 or 5, 6, 10.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I agree with you, Kyle.
Brian back on that head pin, but he's got a split. The Woolworth, as they used to call it.
Wow. I was expecting at least the 5 pin to go there.
Indeed. And a 9 box. 107. All right, after string 1 right now, we're on the lob line with one of the greats of Candlepin bowling years past, Wally Basilinski. And Wally, we were talking previously off camera about all the great memories that you were a part of on television and in the state tournament and on the Friday Night Pro League, which we're all familiar with. And Wally, I wanted to talk to you initially about that open doubles championship you had in 1977 with one of the great bowlers out of Lynn, Massachusetts, Tom Senemy.
Yeah, that was a great year. It was my first state tournament, and I had worked at Tom's place doing the elevators for a year, but for several months I asked him to bowl with me in a state tournament. Tommy never bowled state tournaments. And we worked, and then finally he said yes, and then there was an all-event, so I said, you got to bowl doubles. And I was bowling with somebody else at the time. He had to bowl teams, so he bowled with some guys from Lynn. Then I told him he had to bowl mixed teams, and so he got some drill bowlers. Next thing you know, I talked him into bowling the all-events, so that was the first year they had it on TV. And Tommy won it. We won the doubles, and he won the all-events. And he went on TV, and he got the big check that I didn't get any of.
That's completely unfair.
I thought so. And I see him after that.
Like an agent.
Yeah, really.
That's what happens when you're an outsider and you're not from Lynn.
That's right. I was the first outsider to bowl with somebody from Lynn to ever win anything like that. So it was a big thrill for me. And then, I went on and bowled with a lot of great partners then. And, you bounce around. And you won a few titles here and there. But
Just a few. Yeah, just a few.
Can you count on one hand? It's a lot more than one hand.
not really.
So one of the things I wanted to touch upon, November 4th, 1988. You remember the day, I'm sure, or the night, 2167.
The date I didn't remember.
Well, it's a good thing I looked it up before I came here. So needless to say, at what point did you guys think you had a shot at this record? Or was this something that just happened on its own and said, oh, wow, we just threw a record?
Well, we got excited after somebody brought up to us after the first string when we bowled an 803. I just couldn't believe it myself. And somebody said that was a world record. And then we got out of the gate and we did pretty well the second string. And then somebody says, you guys are on...
I think it was a 675 you threw the second.
That's not bad either.
Yeah, right. That's
It's not bad. It's not an 800, but then the third string, the guys just put it together. We weren't shooting for a record. Like I said, when we bowl, we try to beat everybody down. We just don't let up. And even when we're down by 100 pins, and we have been many a time, and the team just comes back and everything just worked. Everybody had a decent night, good night. And after it was all over, we were told it was 2 world records in one night. The same match.
It's just unbelievable. It really is. And one of the things that you and I were talking about before we stepped out here on this lob line was when I told you is that when I think of you, I think of that epic match on Channel 5 with Gary Carrington and the big string, first string of that match that really cemented a great era in bowling on Channel 5, I thought anyway.
It was a good time. It was a great string. I was calm because I get to bowl my teammate.
Absolutely.
Probably one of the best around, and he doesn't give an inch. He won't give you a pin. And you thought he was out of it because I had quite a lead. And then when we got out of the second string, I missed a somewhat easy spare, and I couldn't find it after that. And Gary just kept smoking. And next thing you know, I was out of it. I threw 400 and I was out of it. But to lose to a teammate, I don't mind. To a great bowler like Gary Carrington, but there's other people to bowl and stuff like that. There's another time, but it was great for me because I had the triple strike and it was a big day.
Nothing wrong with $1,000 to go home with,
No, plus the bonus money. It was a nice paycheck for Channel 5, and plus I found out it was like the third largest single on Channel 5. So I got a few things to look back on now that I don't bowl anymore.
Well, it was 2 great bowlers on that day, and Wally, thank you so much for coming out.
No, thank you very much for having me.
We'll be right back with string number 2 right after this. All right, here to start string number 2 is Brian Fuller, back on lane 7. And an apology to our viewers about Mike's very first strike, and the fill on that was a strike filled with 9, so he was 19 after 2.
So then 109 should be the correct score.
That is correct.
All right.
I'm so glad you're here. Started out with a spare.
Right off the bat.
Brian, a bit under that league average of 127 in string number 1. He had a 107, so he wants a big fill on this strike in the first.
Spare.
Spare, yes. See, like I said, solid 8.
9 fill.
It's the 8 pin though. It was.
Oh, that just fell?
Yes.
Because that's the 5 pin that he just hit.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Well, God bless us. We have a great angle here. Back-to-back marks to start off this second string for Brian. And I'm batting 1,000. Here's Mike Miccichi. right, 9 box to start off string number 2 for Mike.
Moves over to lane 6. This is a little bit off the head pin. Looked like he was going to leave the 4 horsemen right, but the 3 pin managed to tip over. He's got the head pin and a piece of wood in front of the 610. Hits the head pin, should go. Unless you drive it straight back.
A little heavy on that.
$10.
19 for 2. Brian is back up, filling that spare in the second. A little heavy that time.
An ugly leave.
Carry 7.
Got the 4, 6, and 10.
See how he plays this one. Try to kick it over. Still 2 pins remaining. Settles in with a 9. Good start to this second string. He's 45 after 3. For the former Mass State doubles champion. Yes.
Clean up on aisle 6. I keep saying aisle. Clean up on lane 6.
It's all right.
I need a better strike call.
It's all right. No, we have plenty of time to work on that. It looks the same in the score sheet for Brian. He's got 3 marks. 4 to start this second string. Mike has the 4 horsemen right plus the 8 pin, piece of wood in front of it. $7. Settles in lane 6, hoping to regroup a bit as he's opened his first 3.
Just off the head pin, leaves the 1, 3, 7, and 9.
And a 6 box that time, so Mike is 32 after 4. So after the first 4 boxes of string number 2 with 2 bonus balls for Brian Fuller, Brian leads this second string by a count of 55 to 32, and we'll step away. We'll be back just after this timeout. All right, we're back, and Brian is back up on lane 7, filling his strike that he threw in the 4th. First bonus ball.
A little bit off the head pin. Leaves a 3 drop there. Leaves a mess. 6 on the left on the 10 pin.
Got another ball to get out of it here.
He makes it into a good fill.
63 after 4, and he's going to negotiate the 110. Open that time, but he's got a 71 half, and that's more accustomed to what Brian is used to. Brian got a good mix that time in the pocket. Not sure that, does he have a clear shot at that?
Oh yeah, well, from where I'm sitting, it looks good. He must have had a clear shot if he fitted in between the flat piece of wood and the pin.
A bowler of Brian's caliber is not accustomed to missing single pins, but he picks that one up for the 10, and he's 81 after 6. Mike Miccichi. Right in the pocket.
There we go.
5-9.
2 pieces of wood. Right on top of it. Should be able to play any part of that, and that should go.
Rich, I think lane 7 is Mike's lane. What do you think? Yes.
Absolutely. After hitting the cap of that and having the spare go, I would say that he likes lane 7.
Now, like I said, it looks all the same in that score sheet. He's got his first mark of string number 2.
I think part of the issue that he might be having right now is he's recently changed his style. He used to come into the 1-3 pocket very often, and he's moved over. See? He moved over, and he goes to the 1-2 pocket, and he throws a hammer. It's how to fill a spare right there.
Strike on spare for Mike Miccichi. And that'll be opposite Brian being open in the 6th. Brian will negotiate the diamond. 3, 5, 6, and 9, no wood to help. Put it down.
Nice shot.
Boys and girls, these men are professionals. They are accustomed to making the improbable possible. Here's the bonus.
On the head pin. Leaves the 5 and the 7 with a piece of wood up against the 7. I think you're going to have to go outside on the 5 pin and shoot it over.
He tried to do it. $10. 109 after 8. Mike is back up after going strike on spare.
That's a little improvement. That could have been just the half Worcester left, and he carried the 4 and the 7. Get up.
That's a spare with 6. And 6 in the box. Makes him 74 after 7. 23-pin lead in the match for Brian Fuller.
He's on the head pin a little full. Has a split, 3 on the left, 2 on the right. He's got the 2, 4, 6, 7, 10.
The big 5 lead. Takes care of the left side. $10. 84 after 8. The lead remains 23. Here's the final 2 boxes of the second string for Brian Fuller. Right in the pocket.
Buries the 1-3 side. Leaves the 8 pin.
Should have no problem with this one.
Right on.
Spare in the 9th, 119 plus a ball. Brian moves over to lane 6.
He's doing well on the singles. He's 3 for 4 so far.
Too full.
He's got the spread eagle.
Down the hole that time. Brian's going to want to bail out to get a good count.
Gets 2 out of it. Finishes with a 6 box and a 129 second string.
Let's see how Mike finishes the second string here.
Buries the pocket. Leaves the 5-7 angled piece of wood near the 5. I would think if you go below the red line or near the red line, that should cut over and hit the 10-pin. But this is Candlepin bowling.
This is true. I think he needs to combine that piece. Leaves the 10. Now, if you're interested in competing on this show, as Mike takes a 10 box for 94 after 9, just give a call to 978-792-5475 for details. Or you can check out the Classic Candlepins Facebook page.
It's on the head pin again.
Or you can email classiccandlepins@comcast.net.
Leaves the lovely 5-7-8.
It is a gorgeous leave, especially after burying the ball in the pocket like that. Mike will be open these last 4 boxes after going strike on spare. And he'll finish this with a 103.
Brian's got a 24-pin lead after the second string, 236 to 212.
And we'll be right back after this with our third string after this timeout. All right, after the second string, we're back sort of on the lob line here in downtown Amesbury with really the legend in Candlepin bowling right now, Tony Marie Baldinelli. And Tony, we wanted to talk to you. Well, first of all, obviously, we want to thank you for coming out here tonight for this 3-string match, but wanted to talk to you about being a part of one of the great dynasties, not only in Candlepin bowling, but in Amesbury, Massachusetts, and how your dad really started out in Amesbury.
Well, my dad started in Amesbury before I was born, which I guess was like 1953. My grandmother lived up the street, and grandfather, and this is where it all started for us. So this means a lot, and this is I just can't even tell you, with the little Tony Baldinelli on the wall, and they've done a lot to promote my dad, and he would be thrilled to death to see what they're doing here today.
Well, that's why we call this show Classic Candlepins, because we not only does this place feature a retro kind of feel, but we also want to pay homage to all the great bowlers of the past, and of course you're certainly in that company. Talk to me a little bit about your career and how some of your finest moments that really come to mind when you look back on it.
My career. I started a mixed doubles league with my dad at 6 years old when we went to Baldinelli's Bowl away on 110. I was carrying a 96 average at the age of 6 and just went from there on. I had a really bad temper. My dad straightened that out really quick. When he slammed the door, I slammed the door and kicked the ball rack and one time, and he said, "Never again, you'll never do that again." So from then on, that's where I learned. I had to be like Stacia was. So you have to be lady, you have to be professional, you have to respect the game.
Respecting the game, boys and girls, that's the name of it. You mentioned Stacia Zernicke. Obviously, when you became a professional in this game, she was the matriarch and really the queen of the game. Talk to me about some of your memories about bowling against Stacia.
The best memories I have against her was on Channel 5 because I think it was 3 times, and I think I beat her 3 times. That was my biggest. She was the queen, I was the princess, I guess. So, and then there's Janet Pock. She was my nightmare. Love her dearly, but she was my nightmare. She beat me 3 times.
Well, those are interesting bookends to your career in terms of being a professional. And I wanted to also talk to you about that year of dominance on Candlepin doubles on Channel 5 with Tom Olsta and what bowling with him, not only on 5, but in everything else that you bowled in. And talk to us about some of the other doubles partners that you had over the years.
Oh, I started with Ed Arsenault, and the funniest thing is that Ed Arsenault was Tommy Olster's first competitor on Channel 5 when Tommy was 16. Ed Arsenault was my first male partner. I bowled with him for years, and Tommy was my last doubles partner. So, and in between, I had Rosario Lacchiera, I had Dave Romani, I had, who was it? John Zernicke. How can I forget him? And there were several, but Tommy I think brought out the best in me, and I brought out the best in him.
I think he brought out the best in everybody, and that goes to show why he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Obviously, long overdue. Talk to us a bit about your Hall of Fame experience and what that induction was like.
Oh, that was the best thing ever. It was just such an honor to be inducted. My daughter was the one that nominated me, and forgive me for I can't remember who the other was, but it was just a memorable night. It was a night that my parents weren't there because I had lost them both previously. My mom died 6 weeks before I got inducted, so it was a little challenging that night.
Bittersweet, but
Yeah.
certainly a great moment, and you'll be there at the banquet for Tommy when he goes in?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing you there.
You will.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
All right, the concluding third string of our match here between Mike Miccichi and Brian Fuller is about to get underway on lane 7 here in downtown Amesbury. .68, but he has some wood on the deck.
He's got to play the one on the right. He proved me wrong. Nice shot.
Starts the way he started string number 1 with a mark.
I just so happen to be sitting 7 or 8 feet to the right of the lane, so I can't see. See
Well,
how the wood is positioned.
We're doing
best we can.
wonderfully here.
Yeah. Just off the head pin, he leaves the high-low jack. He's got a piece of wood near the 10 pin. Looks like he's got one rolling towards the 7 pin as well.
Check for a 10. 27 after 2.
Brian steps up to lane 7. He's going to throw his first ball, a third string.
A little light that time on the object pin, so Brian will be open for this first box.
Finishes with a 10. Mike picks up 7 pins that box.
Let's see if Brian can respond to keep that pressure on.
So off the head pin again. Leaves the 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9. Buried the pocket there. He leaves the 5 and the 9. Look good from where we were sitting.
9 box. So Mike picks up 8 and count. 16 the difference with 8 boxes to go.
Oh, what a crusher.
The solid 4-pin. Rich, you mentioned Mike had changed his style. When did he make those adjustments to his game?
I think it was the beginning of last summer. And he moved to the other side of the lane and started coming into the 1-2. And he started throwing strikes left and right. I don't know if the change was because he was struggling or he wanted to just try something new. But it's worked very well for him. He's starting his Friday night career this year. Had his first match last week. And, he's one of the young ones in the game, and hopefully he can keep it going.
Right now he has a punch out on lane 6. Took care of that left side.
Did a good job making a 10 out of that. That's all you can ask for when you have some form of the eagle.
That's true.
Take out one side, take out the other side, get the 10 box.
It's a great point. One of the more frustrating things about this game, and speaking of frustrating, Brian is looking at the 5-7 with no wood on lane 7 here in downtown Amesbury. See if he can cut this one over. Score that a 9. Brian went into the gutter that time.
Right on the head pin, leaves the 5 pin. He's got a piece of wood behind it. Nope, not anymore. Rolled away.
That's the second single that we've seen Brian go by on. And he's opened these first 4. So, in our third string, Mike Miccichi leading in boxes completed 46-37.
We'll have the conclusion of the string right after this break.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against the wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
All right, here we are to end this match, and this third string is Mike Miccichi. He has 1 mark in the first box. He's 46 after 4. Buries it in the pocket and leaves the 8 pin.
It's a hell of a ball.
15 the difference.
Right where you want to put it.
Absolutely. Just slid by that time. Mike, a holder of 115 average. Takes care of that for a 10 box, and he's 56 at the half. He's going to need a couple marks, at least, to ward off the assault from Brian.
Just off the head pin. It's like the 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. He hit the object. Didn't do what it wanted to. Still looking at the 2, 4, 6, and 10.
Seven box, 63 now after 6. Brian has 2 open boxes to work with. Let's see if he can. Very nearly a strike as he leaves the 10 pin. Put it down. Brian answers the challenge and puts a spare in the 5th. 47 plus a ball. Bonus. Right through the middle, spread eagle.
51 half.
Nice bid. Slid that piece of wood right between the 2 and 4. Took care of that right side. 8 box.
Mike steps up on lane 7. Crushes the pocket. Leaves the 10 pin with a piece of wood.
This is big right here, Richard.
He converts it.
second mark of this third string. He's going to need a big count on this too, another mark.
It's just off the head pin. That could have turned into the half horse to the left, but he carried a couple of extra pins. He's got a 4 fill. Oh, and he converts it. What a shot.
Let's see how Brian responds to the pair of marks that Mike put up here in this third string, emanating from downtown Amesbury, Massachusetts. Spare leave, 3-6.
Piece of wood right up against both pins.
Yes, sir. Very nearly a strike.
Brian's all over the head pin. 5 in a row now in the last 5 boxes.
It's crunch time.
Converts the single.
Brian Fuller's time as he answers the pair of marks that Mike put up. Mike's back up on 7. Feeling a spare of his own.
A little off the head pin, leaves the 4 horsemen right. 1, 3, 6, and 10. Ultimately ended up being a decent fill. Finishes with a 9.
102 here.
Got a pretty good mix out of that. Just off the head pin, he's got the 1, 2, and 10.
He's got some good action even if he's off that.
He's got great movement on the mixing action,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah. And an 8 box, and he'll conclude with a 110 and 322. Brian's up to conclude this match.
Oh, it should have been better than
Wow,
that.
look at that.
5, 7, 8, and 10.
He was good at, he was going for the whole thing. He was going for the whole thing. And an 8 box for Brian. Brian's at 102 right now. Again, we wanted to remind you, if you looking to compete on this broadcast, or actually compete on this TV show, you can call
There's no competition for us.
Yeah, certainly.
This is our job.
Yeah, yes. We have it. We already have that sewn up. The number to call here in downtown Amesbury is 978-792-5475. And you can also email classiccandlepins@comcast.net. I'm sorry, Rich.
That's okay. Brian finishes up with a 10 for a 112. His total ends up being 348. And he takes this match by 26 pins.
So, the conclusion of this match here, Brian Fuller defeating Mike Miccichi 348 to 322, and we'll be back with our bowlers in just a moment.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
All right, we're back at the conclusion of this match on Classic Candlepins. I'm standing up here with Rich, obviously, and Mike Miccichi. And Mike, first time under the bright lights, and is this your first time bowling in this establishment in Amesbury?
It is. It is my first time here. I liked it. I wish I had bowled better, but I mean, Mark's done a great job with this place. I mean, really. I wasn't here before when it was Lafayette, but he's done a really good job. Very clean, very bowling based. And that's what you need about bowling alleys. You know, you never walk in, you smell the bowling alley. This is good stuff.
It is old school. It is Classic Candlepins, and the show is aptly named. I felt like your ball really worked, especially off, especially lane 7 here. Did you feel more comfortable on 7?
I did feel more comfortable on lane 7. I'm not sure why, but you know, when your ball works on a special alley for a couple boxes, you tend to go over to alley 7 and say, okay, I'm going to hit it on the head pin, and I'm going to do pretty well. When I came over to lane 6, maybe a different story, but I ended up bowling pretty well for my first time on TV. I'm not ashamed at all. Brian did very well.
You shouldn't be ashamed. I appreciate you coming out. Thanks for bowling, Mike.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, that's Mike Miccichi, our runner-up today, and here we have our winner, Brian Fuller, the illustrious Brian Fuller from Newburyport, Massachusetts. Today's winner. You don't look very happy. Why is that?
I felt like I bowled horrible. I don't know, it was just, I won, but I felt like I bowled lousy.
Well, we saw that actually Rich is in charge of all our statistics, and we saw that there were a couple times you had some opportunities, but with that 127 average that you have, I'm sure you'll be back.
Yeah, a lot of single pins. I can't get them for some reason.
It's quite all right. I'm glad that you came out, though, as is Rich.
A lot of people miss singles. Some people think that's the hardest shot in bowling, one single pin.
I agree.
Agreed, Adam?
Very good.
I'll be back.
You will be back, because this is your house.
You're the returning champion, so when they do the roll-off, you'll be the first one up to bat, right?
I hope so.
I hope so, too. For Rich Lamoni and our entire crew here in downtown Amesbury, Massachusetts, my name is Kyle Bruce, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Classic Candlepins.